Welcome to the Jose Aliaga Show. And today we have a special guest. This is exciting. I'm very exciting. And I want to, before I start, I have to say thanks, Troy Coffin, because Troy make this possible. And I have the honor and privilege to introduce you guys, Ryan Kelley. Ryan Kelley actually run for governor, and he have a lot of following. A lot of people's excited today. I know a lot of people told me today that they're going to be watching today the show because we're exciting, and I'm honored to have Ryan Kelley. How you doing, Ryan?
Good, Jose. Glad to be here with you. Troy, good to be here with you as well. Thanks for getting this set up.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. It's been good to get to know you, Jose. I know we bumped into each other at a few events around the state during the campaign cycle, and here we are continuing the conversation. I love it.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. You know, you have a lot of people that following you right now currently, a lot of people that believe that you should be the nominee for governor from Michigan because you inspire a lot of people. I have to tell you that a lot of Hispanic were following you, supporting you, fighting for you, knocking on doors, putting signs across the whole state of Michigan. And I never see that. That was unusual because usually the Republican nominees in Michigan lack a lot to be able to connect with Hispanic voters. But tell me how you were able to do that in a primary, because it wasn't even November election, as we know. How you did that? To me, it's impressive.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think a lot of it just stemmed from authenticity. One thing that I haven't changed is who I am and what I stand for, and I call it like I see it. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've developed such a large following and a strong support base around the entire state. And so I've connected with a lot of the Hispanics, conversations about family, about freedom, about opportunities for the future, about good quality schools, down to earth American stuff, you know, and I put in the time and effort to meet with everybody. And it paid off in a lot of ways. And so I think, you know, it stems from a lot of that and just that authentic connection that I've had with people. And I still do. It still continues on. We've got a lot of great things in the future.
Ryan, I would like to ask you this. You see, I saw you in Fox News, Newsmax. You were always in the media. And the liberals attack you the liberals, not just for Michigan, but
all the time.
The United States. You get attacked because it was obvious then that liberals, the Democrats, don't want you because they knew you can win this election. So what happened? What do you think? Maybe it was the consultants that you got, maybe something in the campaign, because you were, for a lot of people, the best candidate in the race. What can you share with everyone? What happened?
Yeah, it was definitely, as we approached the primary, an interesting combination of results. And we know that there was early election results that were 9 days ahead of the election put out by some local media stations. And that was one thing right there that left a lot of us with questions in regard to why those predetermined results were the actual results from election day. And so, that's one component. But here's the other component as well, is that there was a right to life endorsement that went to the nominee. And also just a few days before the election, Trump steps in and makes an endorsement. And I know that played the wild card, if you will, for a lot of the different voters to see who Trump was going to get behind. I think there was a combination of a lot of things, but there was the hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people. They know I'm a fighter. They know what I stand for. They know that I'm bold. They know that as much as the liberals and the leftists attack me, that, there's some sort of combination there that the left doesn't want me in office. And I think a lot of that combination, too, came from a lot of Democrats came out and voted in our primary election because there was no one on the other side that they had to vote for. Combination of all those things puts us in the place where we're currently at, and it's unfortunate because I didn't put all that time, effort, and energy in so I could lose. But me not gaining the nominee is not a loss at all either, Jose. We've had so many good things that have happened since then. The relationships that have been formed, the message that's been out there, resonating with people still. We got a big fight ahead of us, and we're not stopping or slowing down.
Absolutely. Troy, I believe you have a question as well, right?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, so obviously we have a problem with the younger generations because when people, I'm 24, when people my age become the 30s and 40-year-olds, it's not going to look too good. So what can you say about what we can do to bring more young people into the political picture?
Great question. The other day I was at Michigan State University. I was invited out there by Turning Point USA chapter to come out there and speak. Very interesting conversation. They started their meeting, had their little beginning startup process, and then when they had me speak, before I got into what I was going to talk about, I asked people in the room, what challenges they're facing on the campus today, or in our world, in our culture, in our society, issues that they're seeing and dealing with. And many people raised their hands and said, hey, as a conservative, speaking out on college campus, I'll get a bad grade, or if I don't comply with whatever the professor's agenda is, I'm going to, fail the class, or, they're not going to, whatever it was, you understand how things are going on college campuses, very real concerns. But they did say this too. They said, look, we're having a lot of conversations with other students that don't show up to these meetings. And there's a lot more conservatives on these college campuses, but they're scared to speak up. And so they're kind of hiding back in the shadows. But hopefully when it comes time to vote, they are going out to vote, and they're voting, if you will, in that silent majority, voting for freedom, voting for less government, voting for less inflation, controlled prices, that we're not continuously printing money. So a combination of all these things happening in our society right now, individuals that are your age right now, and that, we'll call it 18 to 30, right? You're not stupid. You understand what it looks like to go to the gas pump, and you're not really making that much money now, but now it costs twice as much to buy gas. You're getting the bigger picture. I mean, TikTok is, one of those things where you get information very quickly, and, all the other social media. So, I think almost the left is kind of destroying their narrative on their own, right? I think that's going to play a factor there with the younger generation as they see what happened with the COVID lockdowns and the authoritarian rule from our government. And as we see more of this stuff play out, naturally going to make people question things. And so really the question is like, do you want big government control? Do you want someone to control your life, or do you want freedom? I mean, these are pretty basic things. And Jose, look at the flag behind you right there, right? America stands for freedom, for liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And it's up to people like us to make that message widely known, unapologetically speaking. I put on my Facebook page today, I said, a lot of people say that my messages and my comments are mean, but I say that they are truthful, they're direct, and they're to the point. And we've been bullied by the left long enough, called racist, called bigots, called white supremacists, all these stupid things that aren't true, but we know where the real bigotry comes from. And it's people like us that are going to expose it and preserve freedom for the future generations.
Absolutely. I have a couple more questions. Actually, one is about, since we're talking abroad, one of the major problems, and I hear here in Michigan, is the borders. What happened in the borders with illegal immigrants? Well, now, people just cross the border and they get a pass to come in. And you may ask a question, why Jose is bringing this question if that's just happening in Arizona, New Mexico, or Texas? The question is, a lot of Venezuelans and Central America starting coming to Michigan. I live in Clarkston. And when I go around now, I hear different accents, I mean, back in the day when you go to Pontiac, Waterford, Oakland County, you hear the Mexican accent. Nice people, some of them. But now it's coming a lot of Venezuelans and Central Americans. We don't know what's going on. But the facts are that Maduro, the dictator from Venezuela, has been opening all the jails and let those criminals to come to America. Joe Biden policy says, hey, everybody's welcome. And I'm afraid some of these people may come to Michigan. And I hope crime doesn't arise. I hope not. But what do you think, Ryan? I mean, this is something that affects everyone's here, Because we don't know who these people are. We don't know if they're criminals. You're going to ask, hey, excuse me, are you a criminal? I mean, you're not going to ask that question. All these guys coming in, and we don't have a good filter in the borders.
Right. One of the roles of the federal government with our U.S. Constitution, right? Article 4, Section 4. Their job is to protect the country. Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. The federal government has to have uniform immigration laws, and they're failing on that in every way they possibly could right now.
Mhm.
So, as you mentioned, these people pouring into our country, we don't know who they are. We don't know their background. Many people let out of jail and just kind of sent out into the world, now coming across the United States border, and then not just Michigan, but all these different states. And Jose, that crime is on the rise right now,
Mhm.
all across America. We have very dangerous cities right here in Michigan. Lansing is in the top 10 for the entire country of dangerous cities. And so, yes, this does add to that component. And a lot of, no matter where you immigrate from, whether it's from Mexico, whether it's from, Spain, whether it's from Russia, whether it's from China, whether it's from India, you immigrate to America through the natural and the correct immigration process. It's a slap in your face, a disrespect for somebody to come here not through the process that's supposed to be for everybody that comes here. You put in the time, you become a citizen, through the process. Somebody else doesn't. It's a slap in your face. And really, we're all immigrants, right? And so that's the thing that America that's what makes America such an amazing place. Is people can come here from all these different countries where, in a lot of them, you don't have opportunity. You don't have the ability to build whatever business you want or go to school and learn whatever you want. And America offers that to everyone. And if we don't preserve that natural immigration process that we need to have here, the naturalizing immigration process, and we just keep these borders open, we're in for some very hard times ahead in the future. And that's exactly what's happening. And it's not only with crime and everything, but it's voter laws as well. Look at what happens now with this proposal 2 here in the state of Michigan. Throws voter ID out the window. It makes it so you don't have to signature validate. Everybody gets a mail-in ballot. Opens up a lot of things for suspicion and fraud.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm not saying these people, all those people is bad. We cannot say everybody's bad. I understand where they're coming from. As we know, most of them have been involved in socialism and communism. And when they find out it doesn't work, they try to, leave their countries, leave their families, because they find out that communists and socialists are bad. So they're coming to America, and Joe Biden want to utilize them and make them expedite the papers for help to allow them to start in voting, because the goal of Biden administration is to be able to, import some votes, because they don't get the votes currently.
Sure.
It's a game behind the whole thing, but I agree 100% with your point. I know Troy have a question as well. Troy?
Yeah.
You want me to continue? I can continue. Sure. I have a question from one of your supporters. Her name is Milady Martinez, who actually voted for you. Her question is for Ryan Kelley. She says she voted for you, and she would like to know what is next. Are you going to be running for Senate, Congress, or any maybe county executive? What is next for Ryan Kelley? She's a
Great
Puerto Rican,
question.
and she voted for you.
Awesome. Thank you for the support. And I appreciate that question. And a lot of people are asking that. And, the short answer is that I want to ask for your prayers for clarity in my life, because that's really where I need to focus on where God wants me to go next and understand what that is, where I can be of value and impactful to our state and to our country. Now, a few of those options, we can talk about that. A few of those options could be the Michigan GOP chair position, so that I can help to lead the Michigan Republican Party in a better direction. One of those other options is U.S. Senate against Debbie Stabenow in 2024. A lot of people are really excited about that one, but I don't know if that's the right spot for me or not either. There was a poll, a little straw poll that was done at the state convention back at the end of August. And the question was, who do you want to see run for U.S. Senate in 2024? And there's a list of, 8 names or something like that. And I won that straw poll. And I came in first place. John James came in second place. And then it kind of fizzled off. The other ones didn't really get much of a vote. So it was really like John James and I beat John, I think, by like 3 or 4%, something like that. So, that's relatively interesting right there to see the results of that. So that's a possibility to see a run against, Debbie Stabenow, or maybe Debbie Stabenow is going to be stepping down and letting somebody like Pete Buttigieg, who just recently moved to Michigan, try to run for that seat, which I'll definitely crush Pete's hopes and dreams of becoming a U.S. senator here if that's the case. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is 100% yet. There's probably other options out there. Other people have asked me of potential other directions to head. And so I'm not really sure yet, but I ask for those prayers for clarity so I can make that decision.
I see. No, I mean, no question about it. I just want to finish this. I'm very impressed with the following that you have, and
Absolutely.
yeah, because I mean, you have a lot of Hispanics. I know a lot of Latino voters that support you. I see more Latino voters supporting you than John James. So that's impressive.
Yeah,
Okay?
and
That's impressive. No.
I like it.
And I have a question. Sorry about that technical difficulty. I was hoping I didn't lose you. But no, absolutely. And I was going to ask you, your family was very active on the campaign trail. What can be said about that? And do you think it benefits the candidate to have their family present as opposed to, a candidate who keeps their family out of the limelight?
Yeah, it's a tough question, and I suppose maybe it's a different answer for different individuals depending on their family dynamics.
Obviously, they have different reasons.
Sure.
Some people don't want to put their family through the media drama, and others are susceptible to it. But your family was very by your side, and they were wonderful. What can be said about that?
I didn't. When I made the decision to run for governor, I didn't make the decision alone. When I initially started thinking about it, I think it was August of 2020 was when I first started to consider it. And it wasn't until the end of December 2020 when I decided that I was going to run for governor, and then started the process of getting the committee formed and everything else. So a lot of conversation with my wife, a lot of conversation with my children to understand what it would mean for me to run for governor, the time commitment. If we start going down this path and then, things get hard, which we know they will, we don't back out of something like that. And we just played through those scenarios for several months. And, we talked about America, and we talked about our Constitution and what, these positions in government mean. And everybody was on board. And so that was kind of like the key right there, because if that wasn't there, I never would have ran for governor, because family first, right? God, family, country, right? We have to make sure we put those priorities in that order. But I think, Troy, to answer your question, for us, it was the right decision because, number one, I have a lot of kids, and highlighting, family and being able to have them involved in that process. Knowing that one way or another, they're going to get dragged into it anyway, so that it's a learning experience for them. And dad's not disconnected either. Like, oh, this is, something dad's doing, or we're not allowed to be part of. And, I don't want to ever shut my family out of what I'm doing with my life. I want to include them in those things. And so while they didn't go with me everywhere, obviously, I included them as much as I could. And they still go places with me. I was just the other day at an event speaking, and I brought my daughter Aniko and my son Vincent, and they came up on stage with me and was speaking and stuff like that too. So for us, it was the right decision. For other candidates bringing their families in, it may not be the right decision.
Okay.
Nope. I think we got you on mute, Troy.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's
great. And one additional thing I want to add to that. Thanks for your reply. But I think it's a great way to bring people over, because you're going to have your people that vote Republican no matter what. You're going to have people that vote Democrat no matter what. And I believe educating the people like you're doing is a great thing. Because what I always tell people is people that vote a different way than I do, feel a different way than I do, they're not the enemy. They're the mission. And so, when I'm driving down the street and I see someone broken down, I'm not going to get out and ask them, are you a Republican or Democrat? I'm just going to help them out, right? So I do believe that is an outstanding way to win people over. And a way that we can avoid the name calling and the derogatory remarks and educate them and say, this is why we feel this way and why you should come to our side. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Well,
so thanks for your effort.
yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. I mean, it's good that people want to know more about you, and it's good that you're showing you are active in that community, helping out and bringing, educating voters. That's important. Before we finish, I would like to ask you any final comments before we finish, because I know time, our time is tight, but is anything that you want to, a lot of people right now is concerned about this election, and that, it will be nice from you, then come some words, they bring some hope to our others, other people, It's a lot of concerns, because the liberals are attacking every day. When I see a commercial, look on TV, and people says, Jose, I see the liberals are keep, I see YouTube as a commercial for the liberals, see the news as a commercial for the liberals. What do you think, Ryan, about at this point? We are close for the election. We actually are 1 month away.
I know, happening fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of things here that we can look optimistically at with hope. And Gretchen Whitmer has screwed up a lot of things over these last couple of years. And she's got a Hail Mary pass going on right now, hoping that, people forget, people, give her another chance. And we have a lot of momentum with the price of gas so high right now. She was riding with Biden. Now we're parked because of Biden, right? Can't afford gas anymore. A lot of the other things that she's done, people haven't forgot. So I think, I heard a quote. It's on my Facebook page today. I don't remember verbatim, but I was talking with an independent voter, and she said, look, I voted for her the first time around because she seemed like a nice lady. She was going to fix the roads, but, boy, I was way off, right? Or, and she's like, I would never vote for her again, right? So I think a lot of people see that, and I'm hoping that we can turn that tide. I mean, Dana Nessel, the Attorney General, she wants to put drag queens in every school with our kids. I mean, how about that, right? Jocelyn Benson, she's screwed up a lot too. Christina Caramo, the one that everybody should be voting for, for Secretary of State, Christina Caramo. Make sure you vote for Christina, Matt. And so we've got a lot of momentum going in our direction. And I think that with these proposals, how extreme they are, the things that have happened, currently going on, continue to educate people, continue to get people out there. Back to our comment earlier about the younger generation. I mean, really, this is a choice between freedom and a choice between more government control, higher prices of everything. If you guys follow me on Facebook at all, you'll see that I'll go and comment on Gretchen Whitmer's page. I do a lot in the comments. I'm very popular in the comment sections of other people's posts. And in a lot of my posts, most of my comments, they perform better than the actual post itself, including on Gretchen Whitmer's page. So, we're going on the offensive, and we're going to make sure that, we take our country back to protect freedom, to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so be hopeful, my friends. Be optimistic about the future, and don't ever give up. Keep charging forward.
I was actually hoping that you were going to talk about your Facebook posts. I've been reading them every single day. They're great.
We're doing good there, man. We're doing really good. Yeah.
When I asked what have you been doing since then, that was one of the things I was hoping you'd touch on. So keep up the great work. It's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of fun for sure.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for being on our show. I appreciate it a lot. And I know a lot of your support is going to be happy to see you again. And then looking forward to see you again, hopefully in the many events in Oakland County or around the state, and keep doing the great work. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Ryan. And that's all for today. And that please follow us on Facebook and Twitter and like our page. And thank you so much. And God bless you.